montage, sparks, tarps, knot close-ups, steaming cups over coals. These are the top 50 bushcraft skills, ranked from beginner to advanced. Master these, and you'll be ready for anything, from a weekend campout to full-on off-grid survival. Stick around. Later, I'll show one old trick for starting a fire in soaking wet wood that most people get wrong. Which of these 50 skills will keep you alive longer? The right knot, the right shelter, or the right mindset? I'll reveal the surprise at the end. Beginner skills. We start with the essentials, skills every beginner should master. Fire-making basics, using matches, a ferro rod, and proper tinder prep. Learn tinder hierarchy, fine to coarse, and how to build a small tinder nest that bursts into flame. Quick tip: dry inner bark and char cloth work wonders. Shelter building, lean-to, tarp setup. Fast, reliable shelters using a ridgeline, natural supports, or a tarp. Focus on wind direction and entrance placement. Water sourcing and boiling. Find water, judge clarity, then filter and boil. 1 minute at rolling boil at sea level, longer at altitude. Emphasize safe collection spots, riffles, springs. Knife safety and simple carving. Cut away from your body, keep a full tang knife sharp, and practice making stakes, spoons, and feather sticks. Basic knots, square knot, bowline, clove hitch. Practice until muscle memory. Show what each knot's best use is. Batoning wood with a knife. Safe technique to split kindling using a baton and sturdy knife. Always protect the blade and work on a safe surface. Campfire setup and safety. Fire ring construction, fuel stacking, log cabin versus teepee, and knowing when to leave a cold fire. Using rope/paracord effectively. Making ridge lines, guy lines, and emergency splints. Paracord inner strands are also useful for fishing line or sewing. Camp hygiene basics, food storage, waste disposal, cat holes, and preventing contamination. Small steps reduce big problems. Foraging edible plants, easy identifiers. Learn 3 safe plant rules. Know the plant, know the part, know the preparation. Start with unmistakable edibles like berries with clear ID. Cooking simple meals over fire. Foil pack meals, stick roasting, and using a pot tripod. Prioritize efficient heat transfer. Safe axe handling, stance, controlled swings, and proper transport. Know when to use an axe versus batoning. Using a bushcraft saw, efficient, precise cuts for frames and poles. Preserve teeth by cutting with a stable support. Camp setup and organizing gear. Layout for sleeping, cooking, and gear storage. Keep food away from sleeping area and pack dry spares. Camp signaling basics. Smoke, whistle, 3 blasts or 3 fires equals help. Use contrasting ground symbols for visibility. At Skill 16, we'll explore a fire method you can do when your ferro rod fails. It's slower, but surprisingly effective. Intermediate skills. Now we step up. Skills that stretch your toolkit and confidence. Advanced fire techniques, bow drill, damp conditions. Learn friction fire basics, spindle, hearth, and how to preheat and prepare damp fuel so it will catch. Persistence beats speed. Shelter insulation, debris, cold weather adaptations, layering debris for insulation, vapor barriers, and minimizing heat loss through the ground. Sleep system synergy is key. Natural navigation, sun, landmarks, reading the landscape, shadows, moss myths, use with caution, and using landmarks to create mental waypoints. Celestial navigation, stars, moon, basics of Polaris and star patterns, plus practical tricks for rough bearings without a compass. Carving camp tools, pot hanger, stakes. Functional, durable items from a single limb. Notch placement, grain awareness, and varnish alternatives. Lashings for shelter frames, square versus diagonal lashings, and when to use each for rigid frames. Demonstrate tensioning. Fishing with improvised gear. Crafting lines, hooks, and set lines from common materials. Ethical catch limits and quick release tips. Small game traps and snares, simple, legal snares for survival, trigger sensitivity, placement, and humane dispatch methods, local laws noted. Water filtration, sand, charcoal methods. DIY filters, layered gravel, sand, charcoal, plus why charcoal is the key adsorbent. Finish with boiling. Camp cooking techniques, baking in coals, rock boiling, thermal mass cooking. Preheat stones, avoid thermal shock, and bury cook pots for slow roasts. Tracking animals, basics of spoor identification. Stride length, gait, and sign, scat, rubs, to interpret movement. Tool sharpening, knife, axe, saw. Bevel angles, stropping, and maintaining tools in the field with stones and files. Rope repair and improvisation. Splice basics, whipping ends, and making temporary harnesses or stretchers. Plant-based cordage making, harvesting fibers, nettles, inner bark. Retting basics and twisting a usable rope. First aid in the wilderness. Wound cleaning, splints, and improvising dressings, plus evacuation decision points. Later, at Skill 37, you'll see a primitive bow being made from a single branch, and a trick to string it without modern tools. Advanced skills. These are the skills that transform survival into self-reliance. They take practice, patience, and humility. Primitive fire, hand drill, flint, and steel. The hand drill is stamina and technique. Flint and steel is quick with right tinder. Both connect you to ancestral practice. Long-term shelters, log cabins, A-frames, building shelters for weeks or months. Joinery basics, foundation, and moisture control. Snow shelters, quinsy, igloo style, packing and carving techniques, ventilation, and safe entry-exit in deep snow. Hot weather adaptations, desert survival tactics, timing movement, night travel, reflective shelter materials, and conserving water through shade and metabolic control. Cold weather fire reflectors and heating tricks, rock reflectors, snow walls for refuge, and hot stone foot warmers for sleeping bags. Animal hide processing, fleshing, brain tanning basics, and stretching for durable leather. Time-consuming but invaluable. Bow and arrow crafting, selecting wood, tillering the stave, and making sinew or cordage for the bowstring. Remember, respect local laws. Primitive fishing techniques, weirs, spears, river weirs, and thrust spears for communities. Low-tech and low-impact when used responsibly. Advanced knot variations, prusik, trucker's hitch, taut line, friction hitches for climbing, tensioning loads, and adjustable guy line solutions. Making containers, bark, clay, bark baskets, carved wooden bowls, and primitive clay pots fired in coals. Great for storage and cooking. Navigation speed drills, orienteering challenges, hone quick decision-making with timed navigation exercises under pressure. Wildlife hazard recognition and defense, reading animal behavior, creating deterrence, and safe encounter protocols for large predators. Natural medicine and herbal remedies, identifying plants with antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and soothing properties, preparation and dosage caution, leadership and group survival planning, rationing, role assignment, and maintaining morale under stress, skills as tactical as any rope knot, long-term off-grid living strategies, water storage, solar, waste management, and sustainable food systems, gardens, permaculture basics, minimalist survival kit building, curate items for weight versus utility, ferro rod, fixed blade, cordage, and compact first aid. Every gram counts. Mental resilience and stress control, breathing, micro goals, and routine to prevent decision fatigue. Mindset keeps you alive when gear fails. Signaling for rescue, mirrors, ground symbols, electronics, mirror angles, SOS ground panels, and how to maximize a weak radio signal. Advanced trapping/hunting methods, multi-catch systems, scent control, and ethical dispatch. Advanced knowledge and responsibility required. Complete self-reliance, fire, shelter, food, water, no gear challenge. The summit skill. Synthesize everything into a sustained living cycle off-grid. Remember that wet wood fire trick? It's skill 31, the primitive method. It's not faster, but with the right tinder and ember care, you can make a hearth from damp wood. We just covered the exact steps. There you have it, 50 bushcraft skills, ranked from beginner to advanced. Which level are you at? Drop the number in the comments and tell us which skill you want a deep dive on. I'm planning tutorial episodes for the top requested skills. Next week, we'll post a step-by-step on the bow we teased, from stave to string, and an on-camera experiment. Can a beginner build it in a weekend? Subscribe for weekly bushcraft, survival, and preparedness videos. Like if you learned something, and share with a friend who needs to level up their outdoor game.